Hello guys, and welcome to today's installment of Software Tuesday, which isn't nearly as catchy as Software Sunday, but we are doing it anyway. Today we're going to take a look at an operating system that claims to bring Chrome OS to your everyday hardware. Cloudready by Neverware advertises to be the Chromebook experience you love for the PC you already have. Now, I came across this by one of my viewers. They kept pushing a link to me, and I finally clicked on it and found this. And it looks really awesome. Really looking forward to testing this out. I have done a little bit of testing on this already just to make sure I could get the live operating system up and running on this Dell Latitude 2120. But the reason I am so interested in this OS because I need something super easy to use that's super light for my mom. Her tablet's going out, and she just need something to browse the web with, and I thought this would be absolutely perfect because the interface is not so much to say dumbed down, but it's really simple and it's going to be really easy for her to use. And now I'm also really interested in this operating system for myself as well because I have never been able to play around with anything Chrome OS like, because you have to go out and buy the dedicated hardware just to play around with an operating system, and as a small channel I can't afford to do that. I can't afford just to go out and buy a computer to play around with Chrome OS. That's not in the budget. So this is an absolutely wonderful opportunity for me. The home use license is absolutely free. It doesn't come with support or anything, but as you know, just for home use, you really don't need support. Now, they do have a sort of enterprise grade license for $50 a year per device, which comes with support and all the other good stuff on top of it. But today, we're mainly going to be focusing on the home use license. Now for this video, what I suggest you do is actually grab an old computer you have laying around and follow along with me, because this is going to be similar to the Phoenix OS overview, and a lot of people got frustrated with that because it was a 20-minute video and I was going through all the steps to install it, all the steps to get it up and running, and then I was playing around with it in like real time, and a lot of people were getting ticked off because they wanted like a 2-minute video just summarizing the operating system. That's not going to be this video, guys. So I highly suggest you grab a flash drive, you grab an old computer, and you come along with me in this little journey, because once again, it's going to be a lot of first impressions for me because I haven't had a lot of time to play around with it yet, haven't even installed it to a physical hard drive yet. I'm sure performance is going to be a lot better. It was a little bit sluggish with the flash drive. So what we're going to do today is actually install Cloudready to a USB flash drive, boot it up on this Dell Latitude 2120, has a Intel Atom N550 processor that's 2 cores and 4 threads at 1.5 gigahertz, I believe. This has 1 gigabyte of RAM inside, and it has a 250 gigabyte 5400 RPM spinning hard drive. And after we have the operating system installed to a USB flash drive, I'm going to plug it into this PC, we're going to boot it up, and then we're going to install it to a hard drive and play around with it. I'll give you my thoughts, and that's going to be about it for the video. Of course, when I play around with it, I mean, I'm going to go pretty in-depth and use it for a little while, so you guys will get all the goodies that come along with that as far as my opinion is concerned. So let's go ahead and move over to the screencast and get started. Once again, guys, welcome to the screencast. The first thing we need to do is get our hands on an image of Cloudready. So go ahead and navigate to the Neverware website. That's www.neverware.com. Of course, this link will also be in the description. Once you are on their website, the first thing that you should see is this white box right here. Inside that white box, there is a button that says Get Started for free. Go ahead and click that. Next, it's going to take us to the version page. We want to download the 4 Home Edition, which is free once again. So go ahead and click Download Now for free. Now, we have 2 options here. You could either download the 64-bit version or the 32-bit version, depending on your PC's hardware. I have an Intel Atom processor, so the 32-bit version is going to be suitable for me, but once again, you're going to pick whichever version works with your PC or is going to work with your PC. If you don't know, it's always a safe bet to go ahead and just download the 32-bit version, so that's what I'm going to do right now. So go ahead and click on that. It's going to download wherever you have your download directory set to. In my case, it's actually the downloads folder, so I'm just going to wait for this to download. Do not unzip the file once it has finished downloading, guys. There is another step. We have to leave it in that zip format in order to get it on a USB flash drive, so do not extract that. Once the Cloudready zip has finished downloading, you can now begin the installation process. Right below the download link, there is a very helpful PDF on how to get Cloudready installed on a USB flash drive using Windows, Mac OS, or even Chrome OS. Now, I don't believe I mentioned this before, but you should probably have Chrome installed or Chromium installed because you will need it in order to install Cloudready to a USB flash drive. I am on Windows right now, so I am going to go off the Windows instructions. The first thing we need to do is grab the Chromebook recovery utility, so I'm going to go ahead and open that in a new tab. We'll go to the Chrome store, and I'm just going to add this to Chrome. Once it has finished installing, go ahead and launch it. Make sure you have a flash drive plugged in that has been formatted and is of 8 gigabytes or greater capacity. So I'm going to launch it now. Now to the top right, there's this gear icon. Go ahead and click on that. We want to use a local image. It's going to be that image that we already downloaded, and it should be in whatever directory you had it downloaded to. So we're going to click use local image. I'm going to downloads, and I'm going to click the cloudready.zip. There we go. Select the media. I'm just going to choose my 32 gigabyte flash drive that I have plugged into my PC, and I'm going to click continue. From this point, it will prompt you to create a recovery image. You're going to go ahead and click create now, and you're going to wait a little bit. If all goes well, this is the screen you should be greeted with. By the way, this does take a pretty long time to install the OS to a USB flash drive. I think right now it probably took just under an hour to have everything finalized right here. So you will have to be pretty patient. But at this point, we can go ahead and click done. Remove the flash drive, which I'm probably not going to be able to do with one hand. But now I can plug this into my Latitude 2120, set the boot device to the USB flash drive, and boot up into the Cloudready live environment. Before we can boot up into the Cloudready live environment, we first need to go into the BIOS and set the proper boot device, which in this case would be a USB flash drive. So I'm going to go ahead and power on my PC and repeatedly hit F2 while passing the post screen. Depending on your PC, the key to get into the BIOS might be a little different. It might be delete or escape or F1. Really just depends on what type of system you have. But as you can see, we are entering setup now. And I'm just going to select the option that says boot sequence. If the camera will get in focus there we go. As you can see on the bottom, it is listed as the last priority boot device. We want to set it as the first priority boot device, so I'm just going to select it now, like so, and click it all the way to the top. There we go. I'm going to hit apply, and then exit. And now we should boot off that USB flash drive, which once again is already plugged in. So we're going to go past the power on self-test screen. And now it should boot up into the Cloudready live environment, or start to anyway. There we go. You can see the Cloudready boot up screen. Okay, so here's the first screen prompting us for some information. I'm going to quickly go through all of the screens. They're pretty straightforward, and it's pretty obvious what you have to do, but I'll do it anyway. So select your language. I'm going to go with English, obviously. Select your keyboard. We're going to go with US, and then select the network. I'm going to go ahead and select my personal network. Now it's prompting me for a password, so I'm just going to punch in my Wi-Fi password. There we go. Once it is connected, we can go ahead and click continue. We have a user and license agreement. I'm just going to go ahead and accept and install it. At this point, it's asking us to sign in. You don't actually have to just to play around with the operating system, but it is a better experience if you do. As you can see on the bottom left corner, it says browse as guest. If you don't want to sign in, you can go ahead and just hit browse as guest if you just want to play around with the OS a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and log in though. Now, as you can see, the desktop has finished loading up, and you're probably sitting there wondering why it's all gray in the background. That's just because we don't actually have a screensaver set. Once we actually install this and get a screensaver up on here, it'll look a lot nicer than this. From here, you can go ahead and mess around with the live environment for a little bit. It's actually pretty snappy, but I think it's going to be a lot faster if we actually move this over to a hard drive. So I'm just going to go ahead and install it to a hard drive so I can show you guys that process as well. So on the bottom right corner, you're going to see these little icons on the bottom. Just go ahead and click them to bring up a full menu. And it's pretty obvious. Right here, you can see that it says Install Cloudready. We're going to go ahead and click that. After hitting install, you'll get a little disclaimer telling you that it might wipe all the data on your hard drive depending on what type of install you decide to do. You can dual boot this with Windows. I'm not going to select that particular option because there is not a Windows image installed on this laptop. The hard drive is completely blank. So we're just going to go ahead and click Install Cloudready. Once again, there's a Install Cloudready dual boot or Install Cloudready standalone. I'm going to go with the standalone option, but once again, you do have the ability to dual boot this with Windows. That's not good. Maybe it actually wasn't done installing. Let me try this one more time. So you know how in the beginning of this video I said we were going to be using this Dell Latitude 2120 for testing? Well, forget about that because apparently the hard drive is dead. I had 3 of these in total. 2 of them I ran some diagnostics on to make sure that stuff like this didn't happen because I was going to ship them out and sell them. However, I did not run any diagnostics on this one and just found out right now that apparently the internal hard drive is dead, so I'm not going to be able to do anything with this until I make some repairs. So instead, I'm using my Dell Inspiron 15 that I have out right here. It's a dual-core Celeron machine with 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. I have a 120 gigabyte silicon power solid-state drive in here, so it's going to be a lot faster anyway. Much better user experience. So I'm going to try to get this back up and running. It should be the exact same process as it was with the 2120, except it'll actually be successful this time because we have a working hard drive in here. Alright, I think I finally got it this time. I removed the USB flash drive and it seems like it's booting up without an issue. It's walking us through the same setup that it did when we tried to first boot off the USB flash drive. The only difference this time was that it did run some updates before getting to this screen. So now I have to go through the whole sign-in process and syncing process again, and hopefully we will get successfully to the desktop. It looks like we finally made it. We are finally here with the operating system completely installed to the hard drive. And so far, first impressions are actually very good. It's a very simple, very streamlined desktop, yet it's very powerful and very snappy. And I know I keep saying very, but it is. I was actually surprised when I started using it off this solid state drive. As you can see, I'll just pop open Chromium here. It opens up pretty much instantly. If I go over here and pop open our settings, I mean, there's not much here, but what is actually here is very responsive, and so far I am liking it quite a bit. I'm just playing around with it right now. Haven't gone too much time to play around with it. I played around with it for like 3 minutes before I shot this clip. And let me see if I can actually plug in a USB flash drive and if it will recognize it. Oh, there we go. So that's the USB flash drive with the Cloudready live image on it, and it is detecting it. I can go ahead and safely eject both of those partitions and close out of this. Alright, so I'm going to mess around for a little bit. I want to change the background, maybe play around with some of the settings and see exactly what this operating system can do. Then I will get right back to you guys. I've been using this for a little bit now, and surprisingly, I don't have anything super negative to say about it. Yes, it is a bit limited as it is based off Chromium OS, but besides that, I mean, super easy to use. Once again, I just ran a boot test. It boots up in under 15 seconds, super fast. It is a bit of a pain to install Android applications on it. I run into a lot of problems with a couple applications. I just gave up altogether with installing them, like Skype. I could not get Skype to install on this machine, the Android version anyway. But I did get a couple Android apps, and I will demo those running on this PC. Let's go ahead and just play around with the system. As I said before, super snappy. I got the 64-bit version installed with no problem. As you can see, I'll just go navigating around here. We'll go to YouTube. Yes, sound does work. Having no problem there. I'm going to navigate to my YouTube channel to avoid any copyright issues. So there you go. We are going in full screen. I'll crank this thing up to 1080p at 60 FPS, and that has no problem playing it back. And I'm trying to talk over myself right now. Kind of ridiculous. And I'll crank the volume up just so you can hear that it's actually working. Check this out. Now, ICDoc sent me an email with a couple of different options as far as products work. So video playback on YouTube is a-okay. This thing has no problem streaming video with Chromium OS installed. I'll just try to pop open a couple tabs. Of course, you get multitasking capabilities with this operating system, which is absolutely wonderful. I'll just pop open a couple tabs here. Don't even know what these are, but apparently I have them bookmarked. So we'll just go around. Ooh, getting started with Bitcoin. Wow, that's really old. All right. I did that Bitcoin experiment a long time ago, and apparently I still have information on it bookmarked. And yeah, as you can see, popping open tabs all over the place. For the last one, I will open up my website, so acomputersandtechnology.com, and it doesn't come to a standstill. Now, this hardware is a bit overkill for this OS. That's why I did kind of want to go with the Atom system, but unfortunately I can't get that up and running, and I don't want to install it on my other Atom system because as my personal computer, it only has a 16 gigabyte hard drive, and I don't want to wipe it in order to install this operating system on it. But just to demonstrate the multitasking capabilities of this OS, we're going to go ahead and minimize this. We'll throw it off to the side. There we go. So stick that off to the side right there. We'll open up an instance of File Manager. Very snappy. Once again, as you can see, I was downloading a couple APKs and trying to get them up and running on this system. I made a couple subdirectories and some special folders for all of that. Really interesting trying to get Android apps installed on this system. And I'll tell you how I did that right now, actually. You're going to go to the Chrome OS web store and you're going to download an application called Twerk. Don't ask me why it's called Twerk. Really interesting name choice right there. And then you download the Android runtime environment, and then you just throw your APKs into Twerk. It rebuilds them. And once Twerk has finished building them, you just unpack them as extensions on Chromium. So really interesting install process. I had to look into it because I had no idea how to do it initially. It was kind of odd at first, but it ended up being really easy. And you can see I have all these applications open right here. We'll pop open an instance of Angry Birds, which I did get working on this system. Really liking this so far. Besides the limitations of Chromium OS, I mean, it's a really snappy operating system, and I really am considering this as a candidate to give to my mom. The only problem I'm going to have with this is the fact that she doesn't remember her Google credentials, so that's going to be fun. I had no idea how I'm going to get past that, but as you can see, Angry Birds is up nice and smooth. No problems there. We'll just go to the second level because I already tested out the first one. I drag it around here. No problem. I'll launch a bird. Woo! And I'm really awful at this game. Ah, there we go. Finally got it. It only took me 2 tries. I'm probably only going to get 1 star for that. I'm not very good at this game at all. Oh, okay. I got 2 stars. That's a nice change. So I'll leave this open, and Netflix does work as well. I'm going to pop open Netflix. It takes a little longer to open than the other applications. Not sure why. This application seems to be a little bit more heavy on resources, but it does work just fine, and I have played back videos with no problem. As you can see, it's loading up here, and it's going to load up the family Netflix profile. There you go. Someone was watching Goosebumps, it looks like. Yeah, but no problem there. That's working just fine as well. So Android applications will work on this operating system as long as you take the time to properly install them. There's actually a really helpful video on YouTube that I used to get all these Android applications up and running on Cloudready, so if you want to check that out, I will link that in the description as a little resource for you guys. As you can see, guys, the webcam is also 100% functional. Just going to close out of this, and now we're going to test out how this operating system handles several removable media devices and some external hardware, such as a wireless mouse. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of Chromium. I'm going to unhook my wireless mouse and see how it takes this. Hopefully it just recognizes this, and we can use it without any issue. There we go. Right off the bat, I am using my Logitech, what model is this? The M235 without any issues. I'm going to hook up my phone now and see how it takes that, if it likes it or not. I hooked up my phone. Let's pop open the file manager. Is it going to recognize it? Now this is really annoying. It keeps prompting me for a cloud backup, which I really don't want to do, and I can't figure out how to turn this prompt off. I wish it would stop scanning my device for pictures and images. That's getting on my nerves. I need to figure out how to turn that out. No, I don't want to back up all of my data. Please leave it alone. But as you can see, it is detecting my device. If I just click here, I can browse around the file system on my phone without any issue. That is all there, and that is all fine and dandy with my Samsung Galaxy S4. I have 2 USB flash drives right here. Let's just try plugging them in. I believe I've already done a flash drive test at this point, but it won't hurt to plug a couple more in and make sure it recognizes all of them without any issue. We have a bunch of removable media devices plugged in, as you can see on the left side of the file manager, and it seems like it's recognizing all of them without any issues. So all of our devices have been recognized without any issues, no problem hooking up an external mouse or anything like that. So far so good. Now what I want to do is actually grab a couple of MP3s and some video files and see what happens. I cannot figure out how to disable that silly cloud sync thing. I'm in the settings right now and there's nothing that looks like an option to disable that. It keeps reading my devices and kind of slowing them down. I'm really not a big fan of it, but I've been through the settings a couple times and I can't find anything. So if anyone knows how to actually disable that, please leave a comment in the comment section. But as you can see, I have some media right here. Here's an MP3 from the YouTube audio library, and here's just one of my videos I pulled off my backup hard drives. So let's try playing the MP3 back first and see what happens. Does this have any sort of built-in media player, I wonder? Oh, it does. Okay, so we tried to play back the MP3 and it kind of just popped up in the bottom corner. So that's nice. I really like that. It's out of the way, but it's still accessible. And if I just seek through here, yeah, no problem. So that's nice. Close out of here. And what happens when we try to open up a video file? I wonder, can this handle that? Well, yes, it can. No problem there. And I'll just maximize this and we'll just skip ahead. I'll crank the volume up a little bit so you guys can hear that it's working. Yep. Yeah, so with this operating system, we have no problem streaming media and playing back local media. So I disabled Wi-Fi, and I'm actually curious to see what we can actually do offline. So if I open up our applications, what can I actually use from here? Will Gmail work since it's operating? Okay, so it's not going to work since that's actually web-based. I would have to download the actual Android application to get any of my mail and read it back. Does Google Docs work? Okay, so nothing like that actually works while offline, and I thought this OS might integrate something where you could use Google Docs offline. I thought I heard about that somewhere, but apparently not. Is that a whole Chrome OS thing? You can't use any of this offline? Because that seems kind of silly, because what if I want to take this and go on a plane with it or something like that where I won't have internet? Oh, I can't even use GIMP. Are you serious? All right, well, will my local Android applications work? Alright, yeah, so it looks like the local Android applications have no problem opening up while offline, so you're definitely going to have to download... Whoa, okay, there's the music. So now that that's done interrupting me, you're definitely going to have to download some sort of offline Office suite if you want to be productive offline. Yeah, if I were to use this operating system, and if I were to have to give this to my mother, I would definitely have to download a couple applications that would work offline, because there are times when we are not online, and it would be really great if you could actually, use the device. And there is one more thing I would like to test while we are offline. So what I want to see now is, will the media still play back while offline? Alright, so the media will actually still play back while you are offline, so that's a plus there. You can watch movies on the go and stuff like that. So that's going to be about it for this little overview on Cloudready. Overall, I thought it was a really neat little operating system, really easy to install, easy to use, simple interface, pretty snappy. It is a bit limited as it is based off Chromium OS, but, I felt that I could do most of the stuff that I would need to do on a daily basis. You can browse the web. If you download the proper Android applications, you can write up documents and spreadsheets. You can play games, watch Netflix, open up media files and play them back on your PC. So, I mean, it could do quite a bit. It's definitely going to be enough for my mom, and I feel like it would be enough for a lot of students out there as well. So, overall, I'm pretty impressed. Now, there are two things I really would have liked to done during this overview that I wasn't able to. The first one was I wanted to monitor the resource usage of Cloudready, but I wasn't really sure how to do that. So if you know of any task managers or resource managers that I could use with that, please leave it in the comment section, because I feel like I'm going to make another video about this, and that's bringing up the second point, because I feel like this is, one of the main points of this is targeting older hardware and bringing older hardware back to life. And I didn't really get to test it on older hardware. That N550 machine I really wanted to use. That was my kind of older hardware platform that I wanted to demo the operating system on, but as you guys saw, the hard drive was dead, and that didn't exactly work out. I do have some footage. I was playing around with the live version, and it was still pretty snappy on that dual-core Atom system. I was pretty impressed with the performance of the operating system, even while I was running off the USB flash drive, but I definitely want to install it to a solid-state drive or hard drive and run it on an older computer, such as a Pentium 4 machine. I think I might do that in a separate video, and if I do, I will post the link in the description for you guys. So that's going to be about it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and post a comment in the comments section. Don't forget to like this video. If you didn't like this video, please tell me why. And of course, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to support me, you can use my Amazon or eBay partner links, both of which will be in the description. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Don't forget to drop a like on my Facebook page. And I will see you guys in the next installment of A Computers and Technology.